Recording in progress.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our yoga class, gentle yoga, with me, Mickey, Lily, and Christian. Christian is on his Ravas tongue drum. He's offered to play us live music today in class. And my friend offered her peonies from her yard. These are from Sarah's Flower Habit PDX. That's in Portland. And I have a subscription to her flowers. So feel free to come onto your back to get started. Now, we were talking about some stretches for upper back. In this class, I love to use props like blocks, and a strap could be helpful. And then perhaps even a blanket or a chair, and also a chair. I have a chair hidden behind the peony. Oh, hi, little baby. So, this is a really nice upper back kind of massage, I think. So you can take a blanket and you can roll up one edge. You could do this with a towel too. So I just do a tiny, small little roll, and then I'll put that right underneath my mid back. So for me, since I wear a sports bra, it's right underneath where my bra line would be, but it's just basically that upper mid back area. And then you might cactus the arms into a letter T shape, or you could rest your elbows on the roll, rest your hands on your belly. You might walk your feet out as wide as the mat, allowing the knees to cave in together. And then just like you charge your electronic devices, can you allow yourself this moment to plug into the support of the earth, recharging your own personal battery? Start to slow your breath, allow your shoulders to relax onto the earth, and feel the hug of gravity. Like a giant hug from the universe that created you, that loves you. Allow yourself to feel for a moment held and supported. Breathing into any areas of sensation. This is your time. I always like to remind you that this is your own special practice. You can take whatever I offer as a suggestion, but you can choose your own adventure. We are on the second to last, the fourth niyama in this series. This one is called Svadhyaya. Svadhyaya means self-study. And I have some quotes from the book by Deborah Adele. Know yourself so well that you grow into your wholeness and greatness. CL. She says the guideline of Svadhyaya invites us to not shut the unpleasant parts of ourselves away, but to carry them with kindness and compassion. I remember when Gandhi was interviewed by a reporter who asked him if he ever got incensed and outraged at his oppressors. Gandhi solemnly replied that no, he didn't, because he knew what existed in the interior landscape of his own being. He was not afraid to look at the fullness of emotions inside himself. And because of that fearless act of witnessing his inner being, he was able to maintain courage, rooted in kindness and compassion. Gandhi knew that denial cuts us off from the full reality of ourselves. There is a Cherokee story in which the grandfather is explaining to his grandson that two animals live inside his heart: a wolf and a lamb. When the grandson asks what he is to do, the grandfather replies, "Feed the lamb." We can choose to grow ourselves into someone more compassionate and kind to both ourselves and to others. We must be willing to look at the selfishness and greed and anger that lie in us, but feed the greatness. If the idea of Svadhyaya, self-study, speaks to you, you're welcome to use that as an intention for your practice today. You might imagine Svadhyaya looks like a glowing jewel planted at your heart center, and then allow it to radiate throughout your body. With the inhale, allow it to grow brighter. Coming out through your pores, radiating out into the universe. With your exhale, allow it to soften and fade. And then we'll walk the feet as wide as the mat. Allow your knees to begin to sway from side to side, any amount. Breathing into the hips. If at any time the blanket roll feels uncomfortable, you're welcome to toss it off to the side. As your knees float to the right, you could turn your gaze over towards the left and vice versa. Feel free to move at the pace of your own breath. Just allowing yourself to breathe into these sensations. We'll take one more nice deep breath on each side, and when you feel balanced from left to right, allow yourself to come back to center. If you still have that blanket roll there and it feels good, you can leave it. We'll stretch the arms out wide to the side and then cross them up and over the body, allowing your opposite hand to find your opposite shoulder, and then allow yourself to rock gently from side to side. tick-tocking the arms, and maybe even allowing your torso to move up the length of your mat and find the blanket roll caressing different areas of the body. Maybe a nice gentle massage. Take one more nice deep breath like this. And then we'll open the arms out wide to the side once more. Take a nice deep breath, and then we'll find the other side, crossing the opposite arm. And this time you might find a different rock, allowing yourself to maybe climb the length of your mat. So you're going in a different direction. You're tick-tocking side to side, but maybe instead of traveling up the length, kind of traveling down the length, allowing the blanket roll to find different areas of the back. Take some nice deep breaths like that. When you're ready, come back to stillness. We'll move the blanket off to the side. And then see if you can find something to use for a strap. That could be the belt of a robe or a towel. We'll come flat on the back, and then you can hug the knees into the chest. You might wrap your strap around right underneath the knees, and then take some nice circles with the knees, hopefully offering a little massage to the low back. We'll wrap the knees in one direction. You could also do this with your hands just on your knees. And then when you're ready, you can reverse the circles of your knees. Take one more nice deep breath like this. And then we'll set the strap off to the side for a moment. We'll allow the knees to fall over to the right. Stretch your left arm over to the left and maybe peek over at your left hand, finding a generous twist. Maybe a nice stretch for the upper back. You might feel it into your neck. Allow your shoulders to rest heavy on the earth. If you want to deepen the twist, you could always slide the bottom leg long. Allow the top knee to come down to the ground, or maybe a block, or use that blanket for support. Okay too, to just keep the knees stacked. Remember, there are infinite variations of all of these shapes. We'll take one more nice deep breath on this side, and then you can wrap your knees into your chest once more. You might lift your head, tuck your nose up towards your knees, curling into a little ball. And then go ahead and release the head back down. We'll open into a twist on the other side, stacking the knees to the left. You can gaze over at your right hand. allowing yourself an opportunity to relax into your twist. Maybe gazing over at that hand to find a stretch through the neck. Softening the upper body. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then once more, we'll hug the knees into the chest. This time you can land the feet on the mat. I'm going to take the strap and wrap it around the ball of the right foot. This might get into our hamstrings. I know I did some gardening yesterday in the gorgeous weather we had. And you could either wrap your hands around the strap and extend your arms long, or if your strap is long enough, you could even pull it just like the reins of a horse, allowing your elbows to rest on the ground. Find some nice deep breaths down the back of the leg. If you want to deepen this stretch, you could go ahead and float your opposite leg up towards the sky and then maybe extend it all the way down to the ground. See if you can soften the grip of your hands. Softening your jaw, softening your shoulders, and send the breath cascading down the back of the leg. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then I'm going to move the reins of the strap into my right hand. If you have your right leg extended, I know sometimes I mix up my left and right, so you can start to open your right leg out to the right, maybe moving the stretch to the inner thigh, down the inseam of the leg. Remembering that these shapes are infinite, so allowing yourself the opportunity to turn inward towards your own self-study with compassion, kindness, and curiosity. When you're ready, we'll float that leg back up to center. Move the straps now into the opposite hand and allow the leg to just cross the midline. So we're not coming into a twist necessarily. Your whole back could be flat on the mat, and you're just allowing for a stretch on the outer edge of that right leg. Notice where you can soften. Thinking about balancing our effort with our ease. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then we'll bring the leg back up to center. Let's extend both legs long. Reach both arms past your ears and find a long body stretch. Just take a moment to sit with the differences right now from left to right. Notice how you feel on the side that was stretched. Sense the other side, waiting for its turn. And then you can float the arms back down towards the hips. Plant both feet on the mat, and we'll wrap the strap this time around the left foot. And I kind of just wanted to show you, I actually got myself this extra long strap so I could make a giant loop And this would be one option, is with a giant loop, I can loop it behind my upper back so that way I don't even have to hold on at all. I'm using the weight of my body and the length of the strap. This is totally optional. Of course, your strap might not be this long. This is a, I don't even know, 10-foot strap maybe. And you can set yourself up here, pressing the ball of the foot into the strap, lengthening through the back of the leg. If you want to stretch that other leg long, one option would be to kick the right foot up towards the sky, maybe rotate the ankle a little bit, and then glide the leg down onto the earth. So the back of the leg is resting on the earth. Remembering you could reach your arms long towards your toes or slide the hands back so that the elbows are resting on the earth. Once more, you have choices. You have infinite opportunities for variation. Allow your breath to cascade down the back of the leg. And then when you feel ready, we'll open up the left leg out to the side. And it's okay if you are on the opposite leg. You're just going to open through the inseam of your leg, sliding that leg out as far as it would like to go. Find your edge and then maybe back off from that edge, just 10%. You don't have to go to the extreme. There's no finish line. Allow yourself to cultivate curiosity as you observe, practicing Svadhyaya, noticing variations from left to right. Svadhyaya, the self-study. Back up to center, and then allow the leg to cross the midline. So now you're getting into the outer edge of the leg, maybe from the hip, glutes, along the IT band. You can bring the strap into the opposite hand, keeping the whole back body possibly rooted on the earth. One more nice deep breath here. And then we'll float the leg back up to center. You can release your foot from the strap. Send both legs long on the mat. Reach the arms overhead and find that long body stretch. Take a moment to rotate the wrists and the ankles. And if you hear any snap, crackle, pops, just know that's totally normal. As long as we don't have pain. Looking to lubricate the joints with synovial fluid. Go ahead and reverse the direction when you're ready. And then totally your option, you could come up to a seat by hugging the knees into the chest, maybe rocking and rolling up and down the length of the spine. or roll onto one side to come up into a seat. When you find your seat, it can be helpful to sort of elevate your seat with a blanket. So I'm going to bring the blanket and fold it up, and then I'm just really going to wedge it right underneath my sit bones. So this kind of lifting of your seat can be helpful. We'll come up to our seated position, allowing yourself to arrive. And then from here, you can start to bow your head towards your heart, finding a little bit of stretch through the neck. We'll bring the left ear over towards the left shoulder, finding some stretch along the right side of the neck, allowing the shoulder to soften away from the ear. On your next exhale, you can bring your head back to center, and then inhale the right ear over towards the right shoulder. Taking a nice deep breath here, allowing the shoulder to melt away from the ear. And you could either stay in stillness for a longer hold on each side, or you might gently, slowly rock the head from side to side. The next time your left ear stretches over towards your left shoulder, you might hold here for a moment, and maybe you start to gently nod the head yes. Thinking about practicing saying yes by inviting in new opportunities. And then we'll pause and balance that out by shaking the head gently no. Allowing yourself to practice the boundaries of saying no with grace, softness, fluidity. And then come back to stillness, bowing your head towards your heart. You can sweep your right ear now over towards your right shoulder. And we'll pause there. You can find those yes nods a few times on this side, breathing down the left side of the neck. And then we'll find the no nods, gently shaking the head no with grace, softness. Sometimes we don't have to have a loud, powerful no. You can have a soft, gentle no. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then once more, we'll bow the head towards the heart and then lift the head through center. You can start to roll the shoulders up towards the ears and down, around, and back. Breathing into the shoulders and the upper back. Could feel good to do it this way, or maybe you want to take one shoulder and oscillate it at a time. Go ahead and reverse the direction of your shoulder rolls, bringing them up from behind and down, around, in front. sync up the movement, think about allowing your shoulder blades to kiss at your back and then roll them up and down in front. One more time, just like this. And then we're going to reach for our strap. You might go ahead and extend the legs, give them a little shake, and maybe you want to reverse the cross of your ankles. So sometimes we have like habitual ways that we do things. If it feels okay to reverse the cross of the ankles, it could be a little awkward. I'm going to reach for my strap that I'm sitting on and get it out of the way. And we're going to do what's called cow face arms or Gomukhasana arms. So I'll bring the strap into the right hand, having the strap drape over my hand, and then sweep that hand up towards the sky. Allow the elbow to bend. The strap can drape down your spine, and then we'll reach the left arm out to the left. Float the thumb down so the palm is facing behind you, and wrap that hand around so that you're coming into a stretch, maybe for the shoulders, the upper back. You could even turn your gaze a little bit to the left, peeking behind that left shoulder. Maybe you want to bow your head, gazing down the cliff of your left side body. Take another nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, we'll bow the head towards the heart, lift the gaze to center, release the hands, allow them to rest for a moment in your lap. Just sense the differences once more from left to right. Take another nice deep breath, and then we'll get ready for the other side. So we'll bring the strap this time into the left hand. You can float that left hand up towards the sky, bend the elbow, allow the strap to drape down your spine, and then you can spread the right hand out to the side. Spread the fingertips wide. Rotate so that the palm is now facing back, the thumb is facing down, and you can wrap that hand around behind you. And I forgot to mention, if you don't have a strap, you could also tug onto your shirt, maybe the collar and the back of your shirt, or some people can walk their hands all the way together. I can't do that. So just find the right place to rest. Doesn't have to be your absolute edge. You could back off 10%. And then if it felt good to stretch the neck, you could just peek your gaze behind your right shoulder. Send some nice deep breaths to any areas of tension or holding, like nourishing the body with breath. Maybe you bow your head, gazing over the cliff of your right side body. Allowing yourself to breathe into those areas of stuck tension or holding, inviting them to release with your exhale. And on your next exhale, you can go ahead and bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands and lift your gaze to center. Go ahead and soften your hands in your lap. From here, we're going to do some stretches for the spine. So you're welcome to stay seated for this in cat-cow. You could lean your chest forward, rocking forward on your sit bones. Exhale, draw your belly button towards your spine. You could come into hands and knees if it's okay to be on wrists and knees. And I like to bring the blanket underneath the knees, so I'll just unfold it, making making sure that it doesn't have kinks in it. And that can provide a little bit extra padding for the knees. We'll inhale to lower the belly, lift the heart for cow pose. Exhale to round into the spine for cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow in any variation that works for you. After a few rounds of cat and cow, allow yourself an opportunity to explore any movements that would feel good in your body. Maybe drawing a nice big circle with the belly button. And you could do that from a seat too, taking some nice big circles. If you find any places of curiosity, you could pause, sending extra breath into that space. And then when you're ready, reverse the direction of those circles. Whenever you feel ready, we'll find ourselves in a neutral position, and then you're welcome to come into a child's pose, or if you're seated, you might just fold forward. This is to stretch hopefully the upper back and maybe even the lower back. You could walk your hands out in front, allow your forehead to come down to the mat, or you might stack your palms and make a little pillow to rest your forehead. If it's uncomfortable to do this on the knees, feel free to come all the way onto the belly, stretching the legs long. Take some nice deep breaths wherever you're at. If you're in a child's pose and you want to do a side bend, feel free to press up onto your palms. Walk your hands over to the left. Maybe bring your left forearm down for a pillow to rest your forehead. And you can walk your hand out to the right, feeling a side bend all along your right side. Allow your breath to cascade down the side of the body. Expanding the lungs and the ribs on that side. When you're ready, we'll walk it back to center. And then find the other side, maybe bringing the right hand, the forearm down to rest your forehead, stretching the left arm long to the left. Allowing the breath to cascade all along the left side body. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to neutral. We're going to come onto our bellies next for locust pose or some gentle back bending. I'm going to move the blanket off to the side, but it could feel good still underneath your hips. could come onto your forearms next, and then you might stretch your left leg back, tucking the toes under, pressing the heel towards the mat. We'll just do a little bit here to stretch through the back of the leg, the calf, before we come onto the belly, unless you want to just come all the way down. If it's uncomfortable on the knees, you can always feel free to skip things. You might kind of turn the heel a little side to side. Maybe you want to start on the other side now, stretching the right leg back, tucking the toes under, pressing the heel towards the mat. And then we could turn this into a forearm plank, walking the knees back, hovering the belly over the earth. And you could tuck the toes under and lift the knees, or one at a time if you want to make it more challenging. Whenever you're ready, we'll just land on the belly, shimmy the hips back, untuck the toes, plant the tops of the feet on the mat, and you can land your elbows right underneath the shoulders for Sphinx pose. Pressing your palms down onto the earth, you can glide the palms back as you reach the heart forward. You might take a moment to peek over your left shoulder. Inhale back to center. Exhale, turn your gaze over your right shoulder. We'll take one more nice deep breath here, and then go ahead and exhale to soften, stacking the palms to rest your forehead. And this one is called Makrasana, crocodile pose. One of my favorite teachers, Emily Light, describes this as an excellent pose for when we're experiencing anxiety, because it kind of changes where our body is able to breathe, filling the back body with breath. Take a moment to sense the rise and fall of the back body. Imagine that this is the place, your seat of self-care. One more nice deep breath here. And then we'll lift up, planting the palms underneath the shoulders. You can press up to tabletop. And we're going to find either a downward dog or just make your way to a forward fold. If you want to skip the downward dog, that's always an option. So I'll bring the palms forward, tuck the toes under, lift the hips up and back for down dog. You might take a moment to pedal the heels. Alternatively, you could use a chair. So I'll drag my chair out here for a chair dog, bringing the hands onto the seat of the chair, extending your hips back, lengthening through the spine. And maybe you want to take a moment to pedal your heels, sashaying your hips a little side to side. Whatever version of downward dog works for you, or just come into a forward fold. We're all going to meet up in a moment in a forward fold, and you can wrap your hands around your opposite elbows. Allow yourself an opportunity to sway from side to side, just like a rag doll. Maybe you shake the head no, and nod the head yes. And then we'll release the hands hands down. You can either bring your palms onto your shins, onto blocks, or maybe the seat of that chair if you are using that. And we'll inhale to lift up halfway, lengthening the spine long. We call this Ardha for half, Uttanasana for forward fold, half fold. Exhale, fold all the way down into Uttanasana. And go ahead and try that 2 more times. Inhaling to lift up halfway. Keep a soft gaze down towards the ground for length through the neck. Exhale to forward fold. 1 more time, just like that. And then we're going to spring load the legs, bending gently into the knees. Sweep the hands all the way up. Rise up tall. And then exhale, draw the hands to the heart center. We'll take a moment to arrive in our mountain pose, Uttanasana. Tadasana, mountain pose. I'm getting the names mixed up. Those are the Sanskrit names that I know just a few of. When you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open, and then we're going to step into a warrior 2. So you can bring your right foot forward, your left foot back, maybe bend into the knee, any amount. You can make this more advanced by bending really deeply into the knee, taking a long stance, or maybe take a softer stance. Find yourself rooted in center, and then grow your arms forward and back. Feel your back hand reaching behind you, knowing where you came from, connected to your past. Gazing over your front fingertips, looking forward towards your future. Feeling yourself rooted, strong, in center. And then we'll lower the back hand, flip the front palm, reach the fingertips up towards the sky. This is exalted warrior or peaceful warrior. You might look up. On the next exhale, we'll bring it back into warrior 2. And then, like you're serving a platter, you can bend the front hand, start to lean over. You can either press your palm onto your thigh or bring your forearm to your thigh. We'll swim that top hand up towards the sky or reach it over. We call this extended side angle. You could also do all of this seated on a chair as well. On the next inhale breath, we'll come back into our warrior 2. And then bring your hands to your hips. We're going to pivot that front foot, so now the feet are parallel. You can inhale to stretch your arms out, coming into a 5-pointed star. Come back to your intention for your practice and imagine that glowing jewel beaming light from your heart center out through your hands, out through your feet, out through your head, like a star gleaming out in the universe. On the next exhale, you can bring your hands to your hips. We're going to pivot our back toes. This is my left toes. And come into warrior 2 on the other side. Bend into that front knee. Sweep your hands forward and back. Feel your connection behind you to your past. Allow your soft gaze, your drishti, to float out at the horizon towards your future, while still feeling rooted, grounded, strong in center. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. We'll land the back palm on the back thigh, flip the front palm, reach it up towards the sky. Peaceful warrior, like surrendering your weapon. Gazing up towards the heavens, trusting in a power greater than yourself. On the next next exhale, we'll find warrior two once more. And then you can flip your front palm. We'll find extended side angle. So either anchoring your hand on your thigh or bringing your forearm to your thigh. You could reach your hand up towards the sky or maybe float it overhead with the palm face down for extended side angle. Take another nice deep breath. When you're ready, we'll come back into warrior two, rising up with the strength of your core. And when you're ready, you can land your hands on your hips. We'll bring the feet back to parallel, and this time actually we're going to angle the toes out to the corners of the mat, so they're kind of like, they're going to be in the same direction as your knees. Let's float the arms up towards the sky, and then we're going to pull the arms down into cactus as you slide the hips down, bending into the knees for goddess. We're going to do this 2 more times, and you can include a lion's breath here. So you might inhale to reach the arms up, lengthen. As you exhale, you could stick out the tongue, roaring out like a lion. With courage, speak your truth. Inhale, reach it up, and one more time, coming into goddess. Sticking out the tongue and roaring it out, just like a lion. When you're ready, we'll bring the hands to the thighs, lean over, and you can bring the right shoulder over towards the left knee. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist to the other side. One more time on each side. And then we'll inhale to come back to center. You can lengthen through your torso, heel toe your feet back underneath the body, and then just take a moment to shake all that off. Allow the arms to gently graze your sides. When you're ready, we'll come back to center. Let it soften any movement. Take your hands now to rest on your heart. Sense gratitude for the unique beating of the drum of your own heartbeat. Take a moment to close the eyes and just sense gratitude for this heart that beats you. Blink the eyes open. If you have a wall space or a couch or some kind of furniture, why don't you go ahead and move towards that? And we're going to do figure 4. So I'm going to use this bed that I have behind me because it's a firm structure that I can put my feet up against. So if you have that, you could also bring like a pillow. I have a bolster, and I'll show you what we're going to do with that. So feel free to come down to the floor however feels good to you. And then we'll come near that structure so that your feet are basically in an upside down tabletop position. We'll extend the left leg long, bring the right ankle to rest on the left thigh, and then start to hug the shape into the body. So we're finding figure 4 pose with support. Now, if you want to make this a little bit of a gentle inversion, this is where the pillow could come in handy. You could press your left foot into the shape, into the structure, and then press your hips up, sliding the pillow right underneath your low back. And maybe that creates a nice soft structure for underneath your low back, but it also could give you a little slight lift. You're also welcome to make this shape deeper by hugging the shape into the body. If you prefer, you can hold on to the pant legs, the sides of your pants, or maybe you can interlace your hands behind your thigh, or you could use the strap and wrap the strap behind your left thigh. But this is kind of why I like to use a structure like the bed or a wall to just allow myself some support so that I don't have to use my upper body, my arms to hold on. My whole entire upper body can soften and relax into the support of the earth. Now, some of you might know the shape pigeon. This is very similar to pigeon, but sometimes people find it a little bit easier, more accessible on the back. If you prefer pigeon and you know pigeon, you're welcome to incorporate that now here. It's going to give you that similar outside hip stretch. Let's take one more nice deep breath on this side. Then you could extend both legs long, shake it out a little bit. This time we'll bring the left ankle onto the right thigh, draw the shape into the body. You could flex your toes towards your knee to deepen the stretch. And you're always welcome to hug it into the body if that feels good to you. Curious mind starts to notice subtle differences from left to right, can you offer yourself compassion, curiosity? In the newest book by Deborah Adele, The Kleshas, she talks about the 5 highest forms of human consciousness. Comes from the Yoga Sutras, and Patanjali says that is friendliness, compassion, happiness, and non-judgment. We can cultivate those towards ourselves. One more nice deep breath right here. Breathing into that hip. Any of those 4 qualities. And while you're at this structure, if you want to release the shape, you could shimmy your hips a little closer to your item, maybe the wall. If you're right at the wall, you could have your legs up the wall for a nice gentle inversion. And to do this, I'll probably just demonstrate without the pillow first. I like to come onto my side, press my hips right up against that structure, and then dial the legs up. So now your whole entire back body is resting on the wall. Or if you're at a couch or bed or a chair, you could drape your legs over that structure. If you want it to be more inverted, you could press your feet and once more lift your hips and slide the bolster or pillow or blanket or block underneath your hips. We'll just take a moment to rest here, enjoying the sound of the music, If you prefer, you can come directly into your Shavasana, laying flat on your back, or maybe coming back into the shape we started class in, constructive rest. Path of growth is not a straight line. It does not look anything like what we think it should look like. In fact, often our belief system of what growth looks like is the very thing that stops our growth. What we think we know stops our inquiry. The Buddhists remind us to have a beginner's mind, to know that we don't know. It is this stance of humility that opens the door to learning and revelation. Is our ability to watch ourselves act and respond is our ability to watch our thoughts and our emotional disturbances. This ability is what gives us clues into our matrix of belief systems. It is how we know ourselves and the stories that run us. The witness is our ability to watch the ego rather than identify with it. The profoundness of this watching is that we begin to know ourselves as something different than who we thought we were. It is this ability to watch that begins to bring healing to our lives. Quote by Huston Smith, "We all carry within us supreme strength, the fullness of wisdom, unquenchable joy. It is never thwarted and cannot be destroyed, but it is hidden deep, which is what makes life a problem." Take some nice deep breaths. Coming back to that intention, Svadhyaya, self-study. Imagine that beautiful glowing jewel radiating from your heart. Allow your imagination to follow the rays of light out into the universe. Allow yourself to hover there for a moment, practicing awe and wonder. What an amazing gift it is to be here today, alive, in this unique time and place. One that has never happened exactly this way before and will never happen this way again. Practice cultivating gratitude for the gift of that body lying still, and then softly like a feather floating back to the earth, allow your conscious awareness to re-inhabit your body. fingers and your toes, gently rotating your wrists and your ankles. You can find a long body stretch, reaching your arms overhead, stretching your legs long. Go ahead and roll onto one side. Cradle your head, maybe on your hands, sweetly in a fetal position. And then you might use the strength of your arms to press yourself up into a seat. Once you arrive at a comfortable seat, you can invite your hands to meet at your heart center. In a gesture of gratitude, Anjali Mudra, prayer position. You can allow your head to gently bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to have you join me in this practice today. And thank you to our wonderful musician friend. Thank you, Christian and his Ravast. And you're welcome to let me know if you have any thoughts or questions about